This song is called My Aunt Came Back, and it's an action song with hand motions. It's about how my aunt goes traveling all over the world, and wherever she goes, she always brings me something back. The first verse says, my aunt came back from old Japan, and she brought me back a big hand fan. So you're going to use your hand to fan yourself. Now this song adds more and more things, and you're going to try to make all the hand motions at the same time. The next verse says, my aunt came back from old Algiers, and she brought me some sewing shears. Shears is another name for scissors. So take your other hand and go clip, clip. But when she brings the shears, don't forget that you're still fanning and you're clipping. The next verse says, my aunt came back from the Brussels fair, and she brought me back a rocking chair. So you're going to rock back and forth, and don't forget to clip, and don't forget to fan. The next verse says, my aunt came back from Jamaica's sun, and she brought me back a big bass drum. And I'm going to use my guitar to beat on that drum. You can use your hands, or you can beat on your leg, or if you have a drum, you can use that. But don't forget, while you're drumming, you're also rocking, and you're clipping, and you're fanning. That's a lot to do at once. And it looks sort of silly, doesn't it? Well, the next verse said, my aunt came back from the China Sea, and she brought me back an itchy flea. So you're going to wiggle. So she brought that flea. So you're wiggling, and you're rocking, and you're drumming, and you're fanning, and you're cutting with those shears. The next verse says, my aunt came back from Guadeloupe, and she brought me back a hula hoop. So see if you can make that hula hoop go round and round. And while you're hula hooping, you're rocking, and you're beating on the drum, and you're fanning, and you're itching. And don't forget to clip. Well, the next verse says, my aunt came back from Montreal, and she brought me back a bowling ball. Now you pick up a bowling ball with 3 fingers. One finger goes in each of the 3 holes on one side of that bowling ball. So you grab the bowling ball with your 3 fingers and you roll it across the floor. But don't forget, while you're rolling that bowling ball, you're rocking back and forth, and you're drumming, and you're itching, and you're fanning, and you're making that hula hoop go around. And you're cutting with those shears. That's an awful lot of stuff to be doing at once, isn't it? Looks sort of silly. Now the last verse will be a surprise. So here we go. And I hope you'll help me with the hand motions and body actions. My aunt came back from old Japan, and she brought me back this big hand fan. So you're fanning with one hand. My aunt came back from old Algiers, and she brought me back some sewing shears. Now you're fanning, and with the other hand, you're clipping with those scissors. My aunt came back from the Brussels fair, and she brought me back this rocking chair. Rock back and forth, and you're clipping. Don't forget you're using that fan to keep yourself cool. My aunt came back from Jamaica's sun, and she brought me back this big bass drum. And don't forget you're rocking, and you're fanning, and you're clipping. Very good. You do look a little silly. My aunt came back from the China Sea, and she brought me back this itchy flea. So you're itching, and you're rocking, and you're beating on the drum, and you're rocking, and you're fanning, and you're clipping. That's a lot to do. My aunt came back from Guadalupe, and she brought me back this hula hoop. Can you make that hula hoop go round and round? And you're beating on the drum, and you're rocking back and forth, and you're clipping, and you're fanning. My aunt came back from the China Sea, and she brought me back this itchy flea. So you're itching, and you're fanning, and you're rocking, and you're rolling with that hula hoop, and you're cutting, and don't forget the drum. Well, let's add something else. My aunt came back from Montreal, and she brought me back this bowling ball. So grab that bowling ball, roll it down the alley, and you're rocking, and you're itching, and you're drumming, and you're fanning, and you're clipping. And don't forget, you're itching to that flea, and you're rocking. Boy, that's so much going on. Well, let's do this last verse. It's a surprise. My aunt came back from the Baltimore Zoo, and she brought me back some monkeys like you. Ooh, 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 you silly monkeys.